Robinson. He actually went to Tennessee this year for the Youth Storytelling Showcase, and he is a fabulous storyteller. He says his favorite things to do is to hang out with his friends. So let's give a warm welcome to Nate Robinson.
Hi, my name is Nate Robinson, and I'm going to tell you a story about my mom called Grandpa Blows Up the Gas Station. When my mom was a little girl, her family owned a station wagon. And for those of you who don't know what a station wagon is, it's a lot like a regular car that's been stretched really long. It usually has a bench in the front, a bench in the middle, and some open space in the back, where three little kids can lie down like sardines with their heads touching the middle seat and their feet touching the back of the car. If you were a larger family, like my mom's, you could buy a station wagon with a third seat that could fold down so you could put groceries or equipment or whatever you needed there, and it could fold back up so kids could sit there. But the funny thing was that the third seat always folded up backwards. If you sat in the front, you'd be facing forward. If you sat in the middle, you'd be facing forward. But if you sat in the back, you'd be facing backward out the back window. So it wasn't a very good place to sit if you got sick. My mom's family owned their first station wagon, and they were planning another yearly trip all the way from Boston to Orange, California. And they needed a new car to go on the trip. So they went over to a car dealership and found a beautiful burgundy station wagon. My mom didn't even know what they did with the green Dodge sedan, because they all climbed into the station wagon and began driving home. On their way, they decided to stop and show it off to some friends. But when they stopped, my mom's brother Wade dove over the middle seat and into the back area. He hit his head on the ground and started bleeding all over the car. They weren't home yet, so they decided to go over to the emergency room, where they told them that Wade didn't even need stitches, just a little butterfly bandage. When they got to California, my mom's papa cut a beautiful, luscious piece of carpet to the back area, so if anyone dove over the middle seat again, they wouldn't get anything worse than a carpet burn. But from then on, my grandma always said that if you had a car and you bought little children, and if you had little children, you had to buy the color of dirt or the color of blood. They were just lucky to make the right color choice. That car survived 3 more trips from East Coast to West, and by the time it had died, my mom's family had moved down to Salt Lake City, Utah. My grandpa got a job and came home with a company car. It was a dark blue station wagon. This station wagon had the magical third seat, and it was extra fancy because America had just lived through an oil crisis, and this car ran on diesel fuel. It was amazing. But the problem was that Grandma now had 6 kids to run all of the creation, and that dang car wouldn't start. They'd be late for piano lessons or preschool or baseball practice, and it still wouldn't start. They keep it warm in the garage and keep it plugged in, but that dang car wouldn't even click. After a while, Grandpa called up the guy who told them to keep it warm and plug it in under the hood. But he just told them that they needed to get used to owning a diesel. After a while, Grandma finally had it. She called Grandpa and told him to take that car back to wherever he got it and leave it there. She was getting kind of nervous because they were planning another trip to Orange, California, and they weren't going in that car. So Grandpa left and came back with a big tan van that had 2 brown stripes running down the center of it. This van had beautiful beige curtains on the windows with Velcro straps. You could open them and see out. It also had a bench in the back that could fold down and make a bed, and a table that slid into a hole in the floor. And this table had 4 holes for cup holders. And they really moved up in the world because This car didn't have an 8-track player, it had a cassette player. It was incredible. Now, this car had 2 captain's chairs in the front, 2 captain's chairs in the middle, and a bench that sat 3 in the back. My mom's family had 8 people. They were picking up their grandma and her dog. But that was okay because that was back before seatbelt laws. So Ashley could sit on someone's lap and Missy could sit on the cooler. Within 10 minutes of the purchase, they had all climbed into the car and began heading off to California. After they had gone through Beaver, Cedar City, St. George, they started heading towards Las Vegas. And that's where things got a little dangerous. The tank was running close to empty, so they stopped on the outskirts of town at a little white rundown gas station. Most of the kids clambered out to go to the bathroom. Now these were the little old bathrooms behind the building that you had to get a key from the gas station attendant to use, and they were scary. Meanwhile, Grandpa got out to pump gas. Back then they had the old-fashioned kind of gas pumps that were usually white with silver trimming and had little black and white rotating dials behind glass to show you how much gas you put in and the price. So Grandpa got the nozzle and began to pump gas, but the pump wouldn't work. He tried and tried, and finally Grandpa began to get irritated. So he walked into the gas station attendant and told him that he had to pay first. Pay first? Pay first? What kind of a planet is this where you have to pay first? Grandpa told the gas station attendant he couldn't pay first because he had just bought the car and he didn't have any idea how much it would cost to fill it. So Grandpa told the gas station attendant he wasn't buying any gas from this gas station and stormed out of the building. By that time, my mom and her brothers had finished going to the bathroom, and they could tell that Grandpa was steamed. So they all booked it back to the car. Grandpa got to the car, slammed the door, threw it into gear, and peeled out of the gas station. They hadn't gone 25 feet before they heard a terrible scraping noise and a giant explosion behind the car. They all whirled around to see a giant black and orange fireball framed by the curtains, not 10 feet away from the car. It turns out that Grandpa had actually left the nozzle inside the gas tank, and when he pulled out of the gas station at such intense speed, he had actually ripped the entire gas pump off the gas station. The scraping metal against the asphalt caused a spark, which ignited the gas up in the pump and exploded the whole darn thing. So now Grandpa didn't feel so bad. He decided he had to go into the gas station and apologize to the gas station attendant and offer to pay for the pump. So he got out, walked over, took the nozzle out of the gas tank, and walked more slowly up to the gas station. Meanwhile, all the little girls had stood on the floor and onto the floor saying, "We're gonna die! We're all gonna die!" But no one died, and Grandpa came back a few minutes later and told them that when he told the gas station attendant what had happened, he didn't even seem mad. He just looked at him and said, "Aw, that's okay. It happens all the time."